obviously you must have ambitions and goals outside of football at some point. What are those?
Being a businessman, getting into real estate, things like that. School has just been that's been something that my parents instilled in me since a very young age. They don't allow C's in the house, so it's been instilled in me since I was young. So that's played a big factor in my life.
Yeah. Well, what happens if you get a C? You don't want to find out?
Yeah.
Not good.
And me and my siblings, we were all going to school in the same area, so we would commute from Palmdale, get up at like 4:30 in the morning, like every morning for school. And then my sister had track practice, my brother had football practice, I had practice. So it was just, my mom was she played a big role in driving us to school, and to getting us home, getting us to training, just to keep our dreams alive and play sports. So now waking up at 6 or waking up at 7, that's easy. Yeah, that's easy now. So like looking back though, like that was the biggest adversity, but in hindsight, it was a blessing.
Before we get to the pod, I want to tell you guys about my favorite way to fire on sports, Prize Picks. Guys, I've tried all the different apps, sports betting, daily fantasy, fantasy sports. Prize Picks is by far the best way to get action on sports. On Prize Picks, you pick players instead of teams, so it's tons of fun, and if you know how players are going to perform, you can make tons of money. Each player has a set stat projection, and you pick more or less based on how you think they're going to perform. For example, Steph Curry, 20 points more or less. If you think he's going to have more, you pick more. If he has less, you pick less. You pair it with some other players, and you can win up to 100x your money. It's fun, it's easy, and you can have massive paydays. Get a free $50 from Prize Picks when you place just a $5 entry by using my code Adam B, the link in my bio. $5 play, $50 guaranteed, win or lose. I'm telling you guys, I've tried it all. Prize Picks is by far the best. And of course, guys, supporting my sponsors helps me a ton, allows me to travel around the country. So it means a lot to me if you'd support Prize Picks using code Adam B or the link in the description down to the app. Let's get to the pod. Well, man, appreciate you doing this. Excited to have you on. I want to start with how's the adjustment to USC been? 6 months here now, about, right? How's it been?
It's been an easy adjustment. I already kind of knew a lot of the players here, just for past relationships, high school, playing against each other. So kind of local kids. So it was an easy adjustment, and everyone welcomed me with open arms.
I remember your recruiting process. You had offers all over the country. 2022 class, right?
Yes, sir.
What was that recruiting process like for you? I mean, it had to be crazy. Tons of phone calls. Everyone wanted you.
Yeah, it was definitely very exciting at first, and then COVID slowed it down a lot. You couldn't see any coaches, or it's really just over the phone and connections like that. But it's hard when you can't see a coach in person. So after COVID kind of slowed down a little bit, and it came down to like a couple of schools, which actually kind of made my decisions a lot easier. Yeah. So, but the recruiting process was definitely great. Yeah.
Take you back to the last year at UCLA. What was it about just kind of your development that allowed you to start to have some, that kind of success?
Just the mentality going into the spring, knowing that there was new coaches, new opportunities. We had 2 safeties leave the year before that played a lot of games. So there was a void that had to be stepped into. So I just seized that moment and wanted to take control of that and be a leader of the defense.
Yeah. And then this offseason deciding to transfer to USC. What was your decision process like during that time? I'm sure you had the connection with Coach Lynn and played for him at UCLA. I know that was a big part. But, what was going through your mind? How were you making that decision ultimately?
Just wanted to play on a big stage and get to a school that was trending in the right direction. So once I decided to transfer, I came down to USC and Ohio State and Washington, and just looking at those 3 schools and then comparing each other to each one and which school gave me the best of both worlds, like football and academics. I think USC was the right decision for me and my family.
What was the moment that you finally made that decision? Was it when you were on campus here for a visit? Was it a phone call with Coach Riley? Was it when you were talking to Coach Lynn? When did you finally say, okay, I'm going to go to USC?
I made it after I took all 3 of my visits, because I don't like to hold people up, because that could be potentially a spot for someone else to go play at a different school. So I just wanted to make my decision as soon as possible. So it was right after I took the last visit and that was to Ohio State. So once I got home, got some rest, and then talked with my family, and we made that decision. Yeah. What
was Coach Riley's recruiting pitch on the visit?
It's just, you already know the defense. You got your coach coming, and then what you've been preaching your whole life with my family. Academics has been a big part of my life. Went to Sierra Canyon, a great school. So USC brought the best as far as both of those.
Yeah. Tell me about your relationship with Coach Lynn and how great that's been to now be here, as your first year is also his first year here.
We still building. We've only known each other for a little bit over a year now. So obviously it's been great to learn from him and keep learning from him. And playing in his defense has been great for me. And it's been a lot, though. It's been a lot of different things that went on as far as like long meetings and learning the defenses and a lot of questions being asked. But we came a long way.
Yeah. Is there a big advantage you feel like for you, as everyone here has to learn this new defense, that you've already been in it for a year? And how has that helped you as you've transitioned here?
That's for sure an advantage, just because I'm not thinking as much. I'm just playing fast. Once I hear the call, I already know what to check to make. But that just comes from like repetition and keep studying over the plays and keep practicing. So obviously that is an advantage, but you still got to play fast. You still got to make plays. Yeah.
Do you think that that's helped you kind of put you in a leadership role here already? Because I'm sure a lot of guys, just from my experience, would be probably coming to you with questions before they go to the coaches, right?
Yeah, this is because sometimes in a meeting you might not want to raise your hand and ask a question. So just being that player that someone that could ask, because sometimes even I've been there before, you don't want to stop the meeting and raise your hand, but there's no bad questions. So really, I just be open to any questions that they have that they might not get to Coach Lynn, or Coach Lynn might be going through the meeting a little too fast or something for someone. So just being that extra person that they can ask questions for.
Yeah. What are your personal goals for this upcoming season? Like, what will you consider success in 2024?
I just want to win. When you have a team success, then that comes individual success. So the main thing is winning, and then obviously off the field, just keep my grades up, 3.0 and higher, and continue to do that.
Yeah. Obviously, school's super important to you. And I mean, we were just talking before this, like UCLA and USC, two great schools. I was making a joke about summer classes being easy from the schools I went to, and you said they're not easy. Where I went, they were easy. Why is that so important to you? And then, like, obviously you must have ambitions and goals outside of football at some point. What are those?
I'm taking pride in trying to be a businessman, create my own schedule. So I think that's like one of my goals is being a businessman, getting into real estate, things like that. School has just that's been something that my parents instilled in me since a very young age. They don't allow C's in the house, so it's been instilled in me since I was young. So that's played a big factor in my life.
Yeah. What happens if you get a C? You don't want to find out?
Yeah.
Not good. You mentioned the business, like wanting to be a businessman. I'm sure that opportunities have come up with NIL, and what's been your experience with NIL? How have you kind of used it to start that journey already?
NIL for me is really just the opportunity to just get your name out and branch out and do things outside of football. I'm not really too big on NIL just because my main goal my whole life was to get to the NFL. So obviously now that NIL's here, I'm seizing the opportunity to get into that, but it hasn't been big for me just because always been focused on the NFL.
Yeah, the NFL money is way better than the NIL money, right?
Yes,
sir. I talk a lot about adversity, like overcoming adversity in people's life to get to where you are, right? To be, on a big stage at USC. Thinking back to your career, whether it's young, whether it's recent, what's a time that you faced some adversity and then how'd you overcome it?
Really, it was adversity for me, my mom, and my siblings. I'm from Palmdale, California, so we would commute from Palmdale to the Valley. I was doing that since I was about in fourth grade. I was going to school in Woodland Hills, and my mom was working in Woodland Hills and somewhere in that area. And me and my siblings, we were all going to school in the same area, so we would commute from Palmdale, get up at 4:30 in the morning, every morning for school. And then my sister had track practice, and my brother had football practice. I had practice, so it's just my mom was she played a big role in driving us to school and to getting us home, getting us to training, just to keep our dreams alive and play sports. So that was probably the biggest adversity that I went through, just getting up that early as a young age. I didn't understand it, but she put us in a better position to succeed and achieve our goals. Now, waking up at 6 or waking up at 7, that's easy. Yeah, it's easy now. So looking back though, that just prepared me, and it just prepared me for things after football. So when I'm in the real world and getting a job and waking up early for that's just things that I already have in the toolbox. So I think that was the biggest adversity, but in hindsight, it was a blessing. Yeah.
What advice would you give to anyone who's a high school recruit or wants to go play Power 4 college football?
Just listen to the people that love you, because they want what's best for you. and they're not going to steer you in the wrong direction. So if that's your mom, your dad, your grandparents, anyone that you feel love from, I just say that just listen to them, because my parents and my siblings, that's the people that love me, and I just listening to them is probably the biggest thing. Just listen and listen. It's sometimes it's hard to listen because you might not know, they've never been in a situation or something like that, but they always want what's best for you.
I wanted to ask about being a star football player at USC in Los Angeles, right? Like, there's so much good around it that there's so much opportunity, and you're in the biggest media market in the world, and one of, and there's, everyone's watching at all times. There's also a ton of things going around here, and there's distractions. You're not in you're at Nebraska where there's nothing, there's cornfields, right? How have you balanced kind of the good of being in LA, and then also keeping the main thing, and it's ultimately about playing good football on Saturdays?
I think it just comes down to your goals, not let anything get you off track of your goals. I have two great parents that keep me humble and keep me on track, and always just keep talking to them and just keep listening to them, stay on track. Telling me to keep working hard, stay humble, keep your head down, keep working. So I think that played a big part. Obviously, it's a support system too. And it's going to come down to you, your decisions that you make, because once you get older and you're away from your parents, you got to make decisions for your own. So I think that comes down to your true intentions of what you really want to do, and are you going to let those distractions get in the way of what you want to do?
Yeah. How do you feel about the move to the Big Ten? You're excited to play some Big Ten football? For
sure. I think there's a lot of stuff the Pac-12 team is not going to be able to handle the physicality, but football is football. I think it's all physical. Obviously, they do run the ball more. It's a little bigger conference, but it's just something you got to adjust to. Football is football, though.
You have to hit people, man.
Yeah,
you come downhill. The Big Ten football. In your game personally, this offseason, what are the things that you're trying to work on and improve on in your game?
Just keep improving on tackling in space, covering. I've been working a lot on the post field, working out my breaks out of the post, so that's 45 degrees down or up. Just working on my post and my ball skills.
Who are a couple guys on the team that over spring practice or this summer have kind of stepped up and surprised you that fans need to know about?
I'll say Marcellus Williams, true freshman coming in early enrollee. He did a lot of great things in spring, and he's very young, so. That's for sure. He's gonna have a great career here. Yeah. And then Jacoby Lane, he did make some great catches. Yeah, receiver. So Miller. It's a lot of guys that stepped up and that you didn't really get to see too much of last year, or that just came in. So it's gonna be exciting here.
Yeah. Last question I got for you, man. I asked a lot of players this. What's your why? What's the reason you do what you do? Like, when we watch you go ball out this coming season, what's the thing that's motivating you and driving you?
I say my parents and my family. Just trying to retire my parents. I seen them put in a lot of hours, a lot of hard work. My mom, she did a lot of sacrifice for us, a lot. My dad waking up at 3:30 for work. So I just think that those are the two things that just keep me going. Just keep working for them. Like, they can get up that early and go to work all day, and then feed their kids, buy their kids clothes, take them to practice, do all that. I could get up and go play football. Like, that's easy. So I feel like that's my why. Just try to retire my parents and create generational wealth for my family.
Yeah, love it, man. It's awesome. Congrats on the success so far. I'm glad you're here. Seems like a great fit for you with Coach Lynn and everything, and excited to see what you do.
Sure, appreciate
it, man.